Am I the asshole because I don't want to share my Irish culture with my American classmates? My 16F family and I recently moved from Dublin, Ireland, to a small town in the south of the United States, a real Bible Belt town where it seems they don't get a lot of foreigners, like myself and my family. I recently joined the local high school as a sophomore, or 10th grade. It's been a bit of a learning experience and I'm trying to navigate the difference between here and home. To be honest, it was not my idea to move to America, but my parents both have jobs that gave them better opportunities than Dublin was offering and they decided to move out here. I don't like it here. My classmates keep making this big to-do about my fucking accent, asking me stupid shit like, have you ever seen a leprechaun? Do you all live in little stone cottages and wear buckle shoes? Things like that. Stereotypes of life in Ireland. Quite a few have asked me to quote the Lucky Charms bastard or that character from Austin Powers. It doesn't help that I look like an Irish stereotype. I've got red hair and pale skin and freckles and a thick accent. It's all so annoying. I don't like it here and I miss Ireland, miss my family, my nan and my cousins and all my friends. I had so many friends and now we're living in America. We're all finding it hard to continue being friends because Ireland is hours ahead of where we live and it's hard to maintain friendships over Insta and Facebook and all. The school I'm attending has started having the physical classroom. One of my history classes this year has a focus on other cultures than just American, so we study different countries. My teacher didn't wait long to ask me to share about life on the faraway land of Ireland. Thing is, I don't want to be some fucking show pony for these people. My culture, my country, is not some display to be touted out like this. We're real people, we have real lives. We're not stuck in the 1700s farming sheep and shit. We have cities and internet and healthcare. We're a fully evolved society. It isn't my job to teach her class. Of course, I'm now seen as some kind of antisocial bully because I told the teacher plainly that I would not agree to her request. Now the school wants to have a sit-down with my parents and me because they have concerns about my well-being. We have a student who moved here 3 years ago from Mexico but she didn't ask him to participate. Am I really such an asshole because I don't want to be used as some kind of performance monkey because I'm from a different country? Not the asshole. Go to class drunk. Really lean into the stereotypes. Slaint. You should just do a presentation on how good free healthcare is. Not the asshole, but if you want to mess with them a little, this is where you go malicious compliance and lean into the things that are exactly the same. In Ireland we have this place where we get fries called McDonald's. In Ireland we use these vehicles called cars for transport. All of those are part of a culture too in my opinion, and it will avoid you having to be a show pony while complying with your teacher's request and showing your classmates you're not so different from them. Bonus points if you get the Mexican classmate to do the same thing. I wish you luck. People stereotyping your home country, whether in a good or bad light, must be the most annoying thing about being an expat. A fellow expat. Edited for judgment. Not the asshole. American teacher here. I am significant other. Sorry that this has been your experience. During the sit-down, I recommend you tell the teacher, administrator exactly what you put here. That others have been unkind because of your heritage. And then apologize for being rude to the teacher. Bear with me. Tell her that when she asked you to participate, all that other stuff was going through your head, and you want to be seen by your classmates as more than just the Irish girl. Don't bring up the kid from Mexico. That isn't your goal here. Your goal is acceptance for who you are as a person, not to be seen as the foreigner. Good luck, and if you have any questions, feel free to send me a PM. Not the asshole. I am so sorry that this is happening to you. I think you should talk to your parents before the sit-down and let them know how you feel so they can support you when you talk to the school about how the teacher has made you feel. Not the asshole. I have concerns about your well-being, too. But only because you're surrounded by idiots. Of course you're not an asshole if you don't want to share your culture, but you might reconsider it. You could teach them a thing or two about the real Ireland. Make a slideshow of all the malls and grocery stores. Who knows, when they see what it's really like, they might get bored and leave you alone. Not the asshole, but just understand that Americans are generally bored and see nothing outside their little corner of what they know. You're new to them, something they haven't seen before. And with recent popular books, shows, and movies, Irish and Scottish culture have become somewhat of an interest. You can politely decline their requests and explain why if you wish. The novelty of your arrival will wear off soon and they'll move on to the next thing. Edit. High school kids are also assholes. You are the asshole only for the fact of how hateful you sound in the post and the comments. It's extremely hypocritical to take issue with what the people at your school are doing while simultaneously going, "Oh, the US is just so awful compared to Ireland." Drop the superiority complex and get over yourself. It also sure didn't take long for the "Murica bad" circle jerk to go into full swing in the comments section either. No assholes here. Moving continents is a big thing and it sucks that your parents chose to do it when you were this close to adulthood. However, I spent the full 13 years of American public education learning only about other countries when they were involved in wars. I don't think they're asking you to be a show pony. They just genuinely don't know anything about modern life in other countries. Europe comes off much cooler than Mexico, especially because Mexico is more easily accessible. Not the asshole. I am from Germany and the amount of people who called me, "Are you a Nazi?" are so annoying in North America. Also yes, I am German, doesn't mean I will be always in time. You are the asshole. I have no idea why you don't have any friends with that attitude. Maybe the other kids asking you questions about Ireland is their way of trying to make friends with you. Yes, even the stupid questions. Without reading the other replies, my first thought was that if you decline then you're missing a good opportunity to increase awareness and open people's minds to you, which will probably help you to settle in quicker and easier. You're not the asshole, sugar, but this is everywhere and everyone. Years ago a boyfriend came to visit me in Oklahoma from London. And when he gets off the plane, I ask him what he would like to see first and he said, "Indians." And I said, "Sweetie, you were probably on a plane full of Indians. They don't wear loincloths and full headdresses every damn day. People. Full of exhausting stereotypes and assumptions. Yep. Nah. I'm going to go against the grain a bit here. It's well within your right to refuse that teacher and your classmates. But it's also within their right to ask. I'm from the Deep South and I am very familiar with this attitude you're encountering. You have to remember most of them genuinely mean well and are just curious, if also a little ignorant. That's the poor education system's fault, not theirs. And to be honest, until you actually address their questions, they're probably not going to stop asking because that curiosity will still be there. Do the presentation and they will lose interest, I can almost guarantee it. Nah, you don't want to be a show pony and that's understandable. The teacher isn't an asshole either for hoping you'd want to help spread knowledge about your culture. Perhaps try being a bit more open. If you're stuck there, you may as well find a way to enjoy it. It sucks you're stuck in the Bible Belt and not in a cooler place in the States. Hopefully you get to find new friends and find your place though. Good luck. Not the asshole. But do the lesson in Gaelic. Not the asshole. Start with your culture's dark history, exaggerate the crap out of it. Then, finish off with a snub at them. Not the asshole. Unequivocally. This country is filled with people that just don't care about what's outside of their bubble. And our education system often reinforces these behaviors. A vast population in the US has no idea that there are developed nations outside of our own. Being treated like a zoo exhibit must be fucking disgusting. The worst part about it is that it's not getting any better, it's getting a lot worse. I'm so sorry you have to be around this shit. Just explain the troubles. That should shut it down pretty quick. They probably didn't ask the kid from Mexico because it's in our backyard and everyone knows someone or knows all about Mexico. Honestly, unless you visit Ireland or live in a big city, most people don't know shit about Ireland. I'd say not the asshole, but if you're that angry about the stereotypes, why not use this an opportunity to teach everyone it's not backwater and stereotypes. Plus everyone loves a good Irish accent and the only time people get really exposed to the Irish is St. Patrick's Day. All the stereotypes, and movies, again all stereotypes. You're obviously here to stay and no amount of being angry will make your parents move back to Ireland, so you might as well start making new friends and being social or it'll be a long 2 years of high school. Not the asshole. You're a high school student who had to switch countries at one of the hardest points in your life. Lol, not the asshole. If they really want to know something about Ireland and Dublin, they should just play some documentary or some video on YouTube, because there are plenty of these on the internet. And I really don't understand why would principal want to talk to your parents? It's normal to be a little shy and not want to talk much about your country because you are probably nostalgic right now. What do your parents have to say about all of this? NTAOMG. This drives me nuts. Come home, girl. Ask your parents, can you stay with any family members here? Ever wonder what it's like being an American in parts of Ireland that don't get much tourism? Same as you're getting. Only worse, because Irish cuss a lot more than Americans in the South. Not the asshole, Irish myself. Ask them if they all kiss their cousins then, and if they're looking forward to college debts. Oh, also ask them what's the story with racism and whatever stupid stereotypes comes with Americans if they're at it with you. Everyone's eyes are on you cause you're a new and different thing. A kid moved here from Texas and everyone was doing cowboy and yeehaw stereotypes and jokes for a week. Though, after that it died down. So if it's been a few days, I think it's normal for people to pick at ya even though it's annoying. After a week you have a right to be angry. You deserve boundaries. NTA, this is utterly stupid. How can people have such a backward view of Ireland? It's as developed as the rest of Western Europe. Not the asshole. If I were you, I would give them the Irish lesson they aren't asking for. I would go into detail about the history of abuse by the English, the Troubles, NRA, all of it, then round it out with a bit about how progressive Ireland has become now in comparison to its recent past. Catholicism, abortion rights, drinking age, healthcare. Also your PM is gay, correct? Throw that one in there as well. I can guarantee your white, conservative history teacher is hoping for Riverdance, castles, and sheep. Also total bullshit on the double standard concerning your other classmate from Mexico. We all know why they don't want to hear from him. I'm sorry you are far from home. Please know that the American South is really the worst part. We're not all like that. I wish you the best. Not the asshole. I think it's totally fair that you didn't want to do that, and it doesn't make you the asshole at all. I don't think it's a ridiculous or offensive thing for the teacher to ask. But you have a right to say no. We're real people, we have real lives. We're not stuck in the 1700s farming sheep and shit. We have cities and internet and healthcare. We're a fully evolved society. I mean, was this not your opportunity to say these things to everyone? No assholes here, but the kind of pettiness that really only hurts you. So I don't know if this is an option for you, but if you hate it that much in the USA, can you move back to Dublin and stay with some family to finish out your schooling till uni? I only say this as that's what I did, sort of. I'm half British, half American, and hated the USA, so I asked my parents if it was okay to move to the UK and stay with family and finish my A-levels here in the UK. As for your issue with not wanting to be a show pony at school, I think that definitely not the asshole. Though the teacher might be doing to try and incorporate you into the class more? Honestly, in a really shitty way, but I digress. Not the asshole, and maybe try and have an open conversation about your feelings with your parents. That character from Austin Powers, I assume they're referring to Fat Bastard? He's not Irish. He's Scottish, isn't he? Not the asshole. But you could take the opportunity to educate a bunch of uncultured people about Ireland. I am an immigrant too, and have heard all the jokes and stereotype BS. I got mad at first, now I take as a teaching opportunity. If they end up learning, good on them. If not, their problem. It amazes me how bad education is. It's amazing that most people I've met here can't look beyond Murica. It's almost like a cult. You're in the Bible Belt. Just for fun, ask some of your classmates how old the Earth is. Ask your teachers too. Don't be surprised when they're off by a little over 4 billion years. Not the asshole. As a person from the Bible Belt of the US, I'd like to apologize for high school. They all suck here. Hopefully, you'll be able to go home soon. Not the asshole. I feel for you. My experience wasn't as dramatic as Ireland to the US, but my family went from Canada to the southern US when I was starting 10th grade. Everyone I had ever known was in another country. I had a bit of an accent as well. Students in my FL high school thought Canada was a frozen tundra about the size of Texas, asked if I took a snowmobile to school. Overall, it was very hard to move to a completely different place with a different culture when I was 15. I hope you're doing okay, Op. I know it's not easy, but you'll get through. And no need for you to be a show pony for them. Not the asshole. Unfortunately, this is a familiar experience amongst anyone who is, or just looks like, a foreigner in America. I'm Asian, and when called upon would come up with the most boring facts imaginable, like, in Asia there's a lot of fast food. Or, lots of people love Apple products. Soon people will move away from that when they realize you won't tell them anything that isn't exactly the same as in the US. Not the asshole, and I feel you. I was an exchange student in 1992 in North Carolina, and typical questions about Germany were, do you have cars, trees, hamburgers, etc.? And don't start with the stereotypes, especially the Lederhosen. I am from the north and we don't have that stuff. We're not Bavaria. So, yeah, I know how you feel. Try to see it a bit different. We Europeans are used to world news, while they're often the main news show isn't about the world but just the local region. Most of them never really traveled, and if they traveled it was either to Las Vegas, Atlantic City, or later on one of the spring break cities. They are curious, and most of them don't mean it in a bad way. We are more used to different cultures and tourists. Give them a bit time to adjust to you. Not the asshole. Another Irish person here, but from the north. I'm so sorry you've had your whole life uprooted and now you're having to deal with nonsense at school. Honestly, in that meeting with the school, make sure you and your parents get it across that you're not a flipping show pony. Eventually the shine of you will rub off. You're a new toy to them, unfortunately. It will. Just take some time, sadly. Although you may still get the odd Egypt or two. I know I do, and I've been in Scotland for near 6 years now. Not the asshole, but maybe it could have been an opportunity to get the bullshit stereotypes out of their heads? Don't get me wrong though, you have no obligation to educate them. Not the asshole. Hey, when I was in 3rd grade, one moved to America from Australia. I understand how much you miss your family, just remember that there are so many people who you can talk to if you feel the need. Also, it sounds like your school sucks. At least there are only 2 more years. Not the asshole. But if you don't want those kinds of stereotypes, maybe consider sharing images of Ireland? I'm of Irish descent, and since I hadn't seen recent photos, my recent trip to Ireland was a bit of a shock. The Grinds School in Dublin are online. You could do the Leaving Cert and you would still get college for the lower amount, but prob not the grant. At least your education wouldn't be affected. Show them love, hate, that's more Irish than Riverdance. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The ignorant classmates who keep saying stupid shit are. That being said, I don't think the teacher is an asshole, nor do I think they were pawning their teaching duties on you. They should have spoken to you in private and asked permission, of course, and respected your no. I just don't think they realized you were miserable, or thought that getting you to share with your classmates would help your situation. Also, nothing like learning about a place from a primary source. However, you are not obligated. Not the asshole. But in your place I would go all out with exactly the things you have mentioned. Modern society in Ireland and how fucking great it is. Emphasis on the ever-growing freedoms. Gay marriage, healthcare access, abortion, you know, those important little things to a Bible Belt town. Not the asshole. You poor kid. Not the asshole. Do the project and show them how progressive Ireland is very slowly becoming. Mention the fact that we have had 2 female presidents, a gay and half Indian Taoiseach. Bring up the referendums that we have had over the last few years. Perhaps bring up the bad the mother and baby homes, etc. Show them the real Ireland and not the Ryan's daughter, top of the morning crap that they expect. You're not the asshole, of course. Less than 3. Maybe I'm a dick, but whenever I interact with anybody who isn't Canadian I adopt the stereotypical Canadian accent, slang and totally bullshit about what it's like in Canada. It never ceases to amaze me how gullible people are. Ha ha ha. Not the asshole. At the moment you're a novelty. But it won't last long. Short attention spans and all that. Maybe brush up on some really brutal stories from the IRA. And if asked about anything just recite those kinds of things, no matter what you were actually asked about. I just want to hug you. I'm so sorry everyone is making an already horrible transition even worse. Not the asshole. I wish you all the best and I hope you get to make some friends and that people stop being gross and rude.